Okay, second night of recording videos as part of the alpha and beta testing for Luma 2. So I want to talk to you about two systems beyond the Gazer system. First is about the posing system or the lighting system and some changes I made around that. And the second is around the posing system. So let's first talk about the lighting system. So I'm going to set to midnight here, and I'm going to turn on the lights on Angora here. And so I went to a real life seminar, photography seminar recently, and they described effectively four basic lighting systems, or four basic lighting types, and I actually had only two of the four, which butterfly is one, which is the straight on lighting. And the reason it gets that name butterfly, even though straight on lighting is it actually creates a bit of a shadow below the nose that looks like a butterfly, or at least certainly is symmetric. Rembrandt lighting is a light that's high and to one side, creating a nose shadow that projects off this way and lighting down here with possibly, which is like what I have with a green light, a bit of an accent. Um, Two new lighting are rim and split. So let's talk about split for a second. Split lighting is where you split the light right down the middle. So if you look at this, the lights are pretty close to symmetric across her face. I've got the red light as the primary light, and you can see it creates a fairly dominant light. This green light is here. It's actually not super lit, but it's not completely gone either, and it creates a split light. The last one is a rim light, and a rim light is creates effectively nothing but a shadowed line on here. Now you'd have to go to the sky settings and lighting and cut down some more of the ambient light to get the full effect of the rim light. And bump the intensity of this thing up a little bit here. And then if I turn the lights off, you can see the value of strictly this rim light. And of course, if you light the backside of her, she's lit up fairly well here. Okay, so let's go back to the split light for a second, and I'm going to show you some of the coloring. So we've always had the ability to set the color of the lights here. With Lumipro3, we've changed this a moderate amount. So let's, for example, pick the sepia, which is one of my favorite lights. A new menu comes up, which is gives you a scale between a 0 and a 1.5. If I set it to 0%, that means it's a 0% filter, which is effectively the filter's not there and it shows white. And if I set it to 1.0, here's the old sepia light. And I can actually, now I've got a graded scale. I can be 0.8 sepia, 0.6 sepia, 0.4 sepia, 0.2 sepia, or 0% sepia is back to white. From 100%, I can also go forward with this, and I'm lagging out here a little bit. I can go either 1.25 sepia or 1.5 sepia and even take it even more aggressive into the sepia. I can do this with all the colors. I can take this into the cooling regime, and again 0% cooling would be white, or I can take it a fair amount cooling. And I can also do this with the same light. I could set the primary as cooling, and let me turn this intensity of this green light up here and move the light forward just a touch into her face so we can see it. And I'm going to now set the green light as sepia and get it aggressive in sepia. And now I've done some crazy stuff here, which is I've got a cooling on one side of her face and a warming on another side of her face. Now, would I really want to do that? I don't know, but at least the option is there. So again, the lighting system has had two sets of changes. One is the ability to go to all four of the primary posing types. And then the second change that we made was around the coloring system, where now we've got the ability to select the quantity of color that you want, as opposed to before, which was either the color was white or sepia or violet or etc. Okay, so let's talk about the posing system. Lumipro3 now allows you to animate up to 4 models. Now, since I don't want to have model 1, 2, 3, 4 and have this thing just buried in buttons, there's effectively one button for models. And in this particular case, I just select Angora as my model. By the way, ignore this chatter. This chatter will go away on the next rev. I actually need to go over to Angora and accept animations. And now you see down on the pose used to be a single button. Now it's actually cataloged into 2 buttons, a male and female. So for example, I can select female on here, and I can select demo 4, for example. And let's advance this here. So I can select this contour. And now this is a strictly, in my opinion, female pose. So let's hypothetically say we decided we wanted to look at the male pose. I actually don't have any male poses loaded into this thing right now. But what I do have is some poses that right now I have got considered ungendered. They're neither male nor female. So if you actually click between the two of them, you get the currently cataloged ungendered poses. So let me, for example, take a look at, well, probably Lady 5, very much likely a female pose. And sure enough, that looks non-masculine. What I can do at this point is I can now then go to the advanced menu and declare this as a female pose. And then from this point on, when I click the female menu, you can see Lady 5 sits there as a female pose. The second thing I can do is I can now advance the poses. I've always had this pose advancement wheel here, and it will only pick the female poses. Sorry, these poses are just demo poses. It'll only pick the female, or it'll only pick the poses within the form that you. I'm sorry, the gender that you've assigned. So if I go over to male poses, and I really don't have any male poses loaded in the demo right now, then when I have two poses and it's just back and forth between the two of them, or I can pick the ungendered poses, and let's go pick like demo 5. Now this is, in my opinion, clearly a female pose. So again, I would go ahead and under the advanced menu, I would say make female. And now that you'll see when you look at this pose, demo 5 is now sitting as a female pose, and now it's going to just bounce only through the male and female poses. A couple other things on the advanced menu. I can make male, I can make female, I can make both. Stop animation sits here. By the way, the stop animation on Luma 2 actually stops now. By the way, I was stopping the animation before. I just wasn't doing a stand animation with it, so you ended up with kind of it's kind of stuck in its old pose. That's been fixed now. Other thing within the advanced menu, I can back up and restore the catalog. And then I can also catalog poses. Now this is interesting here. So when I catalog the poses, it says here, when the catalog poses, we're going to walk through every pose in the system, and we're going to just declare it as male or female. So what I would look at this one is like, okay, this is the adjust lights pose. This is both male and female. That looks like a female pose. That looks like a female pose. That looks like a female pose. Effectively, I'm going to walk through all of my poses and either declare them as female, male, or gendered for both. Let's say this is a double gendered one. That's clearly female. That one's female. That one's female. That one's female. This one could be both. Female, female. Sorry for these crazy belly dancing ones. These are awful, but they were free and good for testing. And copy and mod. So you can see effectively I can walk through all of these poses here. Once they're all cataloged, let's just kind of click through these things. Oh, catalog of animation complete. Now I can look in here, and now I can select only the female poses in here, and now I can walk through, and I won't have any of the male poses sitting within this thing. So I'd love your feedback on whether this system is what you're looking for or not in terms of the pose animation system. That's it. Thanks.